Hello and welcome to a special episode of Insert Coin. I'm Tim.
And I'm Chris.
And we're on part 3 of our Final Fantasy playthrough.
Oh, I hate this part. I always get confused.
This is where the depth perception stopped.
Yeah.
I'm sure by this point though you would have walked through there a few times, so
right.
I think it only really stopped me the first time round. So in the last episode the tower was blown up and Sector 7 was destroyed, so now the team are thinking about retaliating against Shinra. But first I want to go make sure that Marlene's okay.
Yeah, instead he's just going to daydream. Not like, yeah sure, we'll get you to your daughter. No.
Some more sort of, I don't really understand what those bits are, whether they're like him thinking it or whether he's hearing voices in his head. It's not very, I don't know, whatever you interpret it as, I think.
So I thought it was like an inner monologue.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know. But it almost seems like it's lines from other scenes in the flashbacks.
Mm. Put it together, man. Let's just walk inside
you. It means literally pull us into you.
Oh, I wonder what the robot arm's from. Oh, you can tell it's me playing. I was like, Do you reckon they had giant mechs in Midgard? And then they just kind of scrapped them?
I guess so, because they do have robots, don't they? Like, you have the Airbus
True,
and the
like
Proud and stuff,
yeah. That's what I heard.
So you do get stuff like that in it, so it's just like Shinra robots. This is good. This is where you can reap the benefits of not stealing from the kid, isn't it?
Oh, of course, yeah, we didn't take all his money.
So if you remember in the last episode, you go to the kid's drawer, it says, do you want to take this at 5 gil? Or something. It's not very much, is it? It's literally like 5 gil, and if you don't take it, you come back and he gives you a turbo ether, which is worth way more than 5 gil.
Yeah. Guy still doesn't care about you walking straight into his room.
That's one thing I found actually, it's a bit weird, like on these games. You go into people's houses and you like search through their drawers and look in chests and take items and stuff. And then they're like, what the hell are you doing in my house? Get out!
Yeah, it's the same in Pokemon as well. You go to someone's house like full of monsters.
Yeah.
And they're like,
you look at all the drawers, all the furniture, and like talk to people in the house. And it's like, oh hi, I really like trading bird Pokemon. Instead of like saying, hi, why are you in my house?
Yeah, then a giant like goal battle sign is just screaming in your ear.
That's in the world where like all the houses are really small. Like, literally just in one room. It'd be like if this room was my house.
Yeah.
Walk in, it's like, oh, where does everyone sleep? You just have like a table and chairs and a bookshelf.
Yeah.
And like nobody locks their doors.
No, that's true actually.
So there's some games where you do get like towns and stuff, and like some doors are locked, or like all doors are locked and things like that.
But Oblivion or stuff like that.
Yeah. Oblivion's a good example actually, because there's a good number of like locked doors and unlocked doors. And like in Oblivion, you can like pick locks and break into houses and steal stuff and things like that. But then in
not
games
in
like
Pokemon.
Yeah, in Pokemon, they just leave all the doors open. It's kind of like a different type of.
It's a kids game.
Yeah, different type of RPG. The thing is like Zelda and stuff like that, you can just walk in everywhere. But in places like Oblivion, it's so huge and wide, and Skyrim and things like that, and Fallout, that sort of thing. They're such huge games. It's meant to be like exploring. And like if you were exploring where every house was one room and you could get in everywhere, it'd just take you ages. Walking through houses. Whereas like in this game, like the size of Skyrim, you would have to make the decision to go looting houses as part of one of many things to do.
Yeah, there'd be no consequences, that's the word. Like to go in everyone's house if the doors were always unlocked.
Yeah.
If the doors are locked, then there's a consequence of you breaking the door and stealing stuff.
Exactly. Well, you could easily have that in a game like Final Fantasy or Zelda and things like that, but I guess that's not really what they've gone for. I think actually there is one scene in this game where, I don't know if we did it in our playthrough actually, there's a house I remember, I don't know if you remember this, where you go in and there's a high potion or something, and like when you leave, the guy in the house says, oh, did you take that high potion that was downstairs? And if you say no, he says, oh, it's very bad to lie. And if you say yes, he's like, oh, thanks for being honest, I was going to throw it out so you can keep it. Or something like that. Do you remember us doing that?
No, I don't think we did that at all.
Oh, where was that then?
Was that in like Costa del Sol? Or?
I think it was in Costa. It was either in Costa del Sol or the Snow Town.
Okay.
Whatever the Snow Town's called.
Can't
That's cool. Like by the Great Glacier.
Oh
the
yeah,
town you
yeah.
go into before you do the snowboarding.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. One of those places.
Oh no. This flashback to Tifa's mom.
Yes, her real mother. Revealing the story.
Train guard not bothered.
He's just watching like, it's fine, I suppose.
Yeah, you'll be okay. You don't have a ticket. Meh.
That's Shinra for you. So yeah, this is the war, as I was saying before in the Crisis Core game. The war is between Watai and Midgar.
Oh, okay. Is that just Watai against Shinra, pretty much? Or
Yes,
just
I think
Midgar
so.
as
So
a...
a while since I played Crisis Core, I don't remember a lot of the bits in it, to be honest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it starts off, like the first few levels, Zack is fighting Watai troops.
Oh, okay. This is Zack as in normal Zack, not our Zack.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Some of you may know what that means, some of you may not. So you see, like the pace of this game, I just think is really well done. You've just had like loads of action and a big explosion, and now it's just like slowed it right down. You get a flashback sequence. It's just really well done.
It seems like action, then lore and story, then action. So we like a whole sector just got crushed on top of people.
And in terms of action, you've got like the big dramatic scenes, but then you also have like the bits where you're actually doing battles and fighting.
Yeah.
Gameplay-wise, the pace changes in that you're exploring and looking for items, and you've got loads of enemies you've got to try and like stay alive. Then you've got like a dramatic boss battle where you're just like, right, let's blow all of our magic points we've got left on this guy.
Yeah.
So the pacing of both the gameplay and the storyline is done incredibly well. I think in all the Final Fantasy games, really.
Yeah.
I say with the exception of 13, I didn't particularly like the pacing of 13. I think that's why I didn't like it as much, because you didn't have the bits where it would stop, like slow the game down. You could like, go into a town, talk to people, buy items. It was literally just when you get to a save point and you could heal yourself, and you could buy items from like online shops.
Oh, okay.
So it's literally just like section of fighting, section of fighting, section of fighting, broken up by cutscenes. There's no like cutscenes like this where it's this in-game cutscenes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where all the cutscenes were like full-on CG cutscenes every few minutes, and it got pointless, a bit too much. Like I find in 10 it's a little bit too much, because you'll literally walk around the corner and then there's a cutscene, then you'll walk up some stairs and then there's a cutscene. It's kind of like, just get on with it.
I found out just recently in Metal Gear Solid 4, the PS3 one, they got so many cutscenes that one of their cutscenes is over an hour long.
Jeez.
But to me, that's just like cinematic viewing. The graphics in those games, especially the latest one, is just, it may as well be real people.
Yeah.
So
thing is,
I
that's
don't
going to be
mind stuff
tense
like
to watch. If don't know, you're not anticipating an hour-long cutscene, you're going to be sat there with a controller in your hands thinking like, I'm going to be playing any minute now.
Yeah.
So you're going to be paying so much close attention to it, thinking like, in any minute I might take control of my character and then get killed and then have to reload the video again and start all over again.
Oh yeah, or especially if like you want to go out and stuff, you're like, there should have been a save point like 40 minutes ago, what's going on?
That's weird. I'm surprised they did it that long. That sounds very ambitious. There's a bit I really like in Metal Gear Solid 3 where it starts playing the theme song as you climb a ladder. And then the time it takes, it's a really, really long ladder. You're literally like, you hold up and you're just climbing for about a few minutes, maybe like 3 minutes.
Oh, so up on like one of the the com towers?
Yeah, like I think you've just defeated, or you're underground, I think you've just defeated one of the bosses, and you go up to like a duct, so it's got like a ladder that goes up to the top. Okay. And as you start climbing, it starts playing the theme music, and it takes the whole length of the theme music to get to the top.
Wow.
So like, it's kind of like the end of a chapter, and then you get like a full version of the title song, and then you get to the top. That was really good.
That is awesome.
You could watch that as a film, essentially. There's a theatre mode, and you could play from the beginning and play all the cutscenes in order, and you can choose what path you take on the cutscenes. You have alternative scenes in different places.
Yeah.
So you preload the path you want, and then you just play it, and you can play it as a movie.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, I did
awesome.
that a few times, and it's good because you could put Snake in the different outfits. So in one of them, you can actually get a tuxedo, and you play through the whole game. We watch all the cutscenes with him in the tuxedo.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's quite cool. Or you could have the Ape Escape mask on or something.
Oh gosh, Ape Escape, that's going back. Not just for the original PlayStation?
PS1, I think, PS1. But it had the analog, one of the first games had the analog sticks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because you have to use the analog sticks to move and hit.
Yeah.
And use your net and stuff. Why are we walking?
It's probably me playing this
Let's
way.
walk slowly upstairs. We don't wake anybody up this time.
Yeah, weren't we doing it? So we didn't. Oh, I know.
No, that was nowhere near this point in the game. Harry's been kidnapped.
Marlene's okay. At least we think so. Like a bundle of pixel.
I hate the little bits. Like I think then it just happened where like you talk to him, nothing happens, and like I think there's a scene in like Tifa's barn in the beginning where you talk to Tifa and she says the same thing over and over again. You wander around the whole room trying to interact with stuff and find out what you need to do to start the next sequence. Then you give up and you go to leave, and you realise that going to leave is what's going to trigger the next bit of the conversation.
Oh, no.
I think that was what was happening there because we were hanging around outside by the next to dine, and nothing was happening. We stood there for a while, and then we left the room, and then all of a sudden he turns around and goes, "Oh." You're leaving. Okay, looks like everything's about to kick off again, going off to the next section of the game. Back to the war market now.
Oh. I've got to push myself to the limit. I can go and get myself killed.
Imagine what would happen if any of them had decided to stay there. They would have been there for like the rest of the game, pretty much, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's just stay in this house and just stay there.
Do you reckon the game would still be the same if Dine wasn't there? Like, if Dine decided to stay with Marlene for the rest of the game, do you reckon it would change it much?
Yeah, I guess so. Loads, actually. Well, I suppose only if you were really used, like the scenes would just, carry on without him. But there's a few bits in the upcoming sections where he has to be with you. And like, all the bits in Coral Town would go down very differently, wouldn't they?
Yeah, true. I think you could just use a different party setup.
Yeah, in terms of the game it'd be fun, but I mean like in terms of plot.
Yeah.
It's so weird because like Marlene just stays with Ares' mum now for the rest of the game. And then think about time-wise, we're talking about when you walk between one town to another on the world map, that could represent several days of walking in terms of the scaling.
Yeah.
So how long does the journey actually take for the characters, isn't it? Like whenever you sleep and stuff, things like that. If you think about it in terms of in-game days, the game takes at least 30 hours of gaming, do you think?
Yeah,
so
doing everything.
Do you reckon that would represent maybe 30 days? It could be like on average, so it'd be like a month. So it's not too long, might be longer than that.
Yeah.
Because then essentially Marlene's been sat with Mary's mum for a couple of months or something, perhaps.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think the so running through that section there would have taken an hour or two.
I don't know if the scaling's right for that, but I'm talking more like when you go on the world map, you've got a picture of a town which is represented by maybe an inch squared on the map. Which when you go into it, it's obviously a much bigger town.
I think
got some sense material there. Which is quite good.
So if you're chasing Ultima weapon around, is Ultima weapon you're chasing around, or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're chasing that around the world a lot.
Yeah.
To try and get
good point actually. No,
so there's months of just chasing this giant robot. That's quite. I don't know. Every town we end up going to, I always like to check the shops just in case they sell material we don't have.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, because I played the game before, I knew where the material was to get it. But a lot of the shops you just didn't bother with because you can get the material for free in places. But you do get some material which you've got elsewhere being resold in shops. So you can buy fire and ice and bolt. In shops, but by that point you would already have them. So it'd be is there really much point in buying another one?
Yeah, true.
Because I mean, it's not very long into the game where you get to a point where every character can have a full weapon and armor worth of materia in use. Yeah. So you don't really need duplicates at all, do you? This bit's quite interesting. I really kind of liked this section.
So going into the shop, buying a battery, so we can get up here.
Yep. Yeah, don't attempt to climb this without the batteries. You just need to go in the shop, buy the batteries, and you will need them. You'll see when we go up why if you've not played this before. Glimmer of hope.
Ooh, bit of avalanche graffiti.
There's a few like weird bits, isn't it, like this? I suppose it's not in this section, but I think we saw it in one of the previous videos where there's a hole, and they're like, oh, I wonder if we can get down this hole. It's like, don't go down, look, or go down. It's like, well, you have to go down. It's like, why does the game make you think that it's not okay to go down? There's another bit. Do you remember in the Temple of the Ancients, when you go to a save point, it says, are you sure you want to save? You're in the Temple of the Ancients.
Yeah,
and at the time I was like, what the hell? What does that mean? So when I got to that point, I saved the game in a separate save slot, so I didn't overwrite my previous one. Just in case. I was like, I don't know what that means, but it sounds really ominous. So that's just what a weird thing to have in it, just to freak you out. It doesn't have any other function other to weird you out a bit. It's like, are you sure you want to save it? You're in a shop.
True. I know, those tiny batteries we bought from the shopkeeper.
Which we've always been carrying in our pocket. There. Oh, you have to believe the shopkeeper indeed. They're massive!
Huge! What?
Massive batteries. Obviously, you've got to imagine in your mind's eye that he has a backpack full of huge batteries.
Very true. So, up here, the batteries they're not in there. They're not in the power supplies at the moment. So,
yes. I guess someone's going around taking them out. But it's all just like, it's randomly fallen rubble that has batteries at 3 points on the way up that will control something to the right amount that you can then move up onto the other random piece of rubble. So it's just completely coincidental. There's no planning to this whatsoever. It's just naturally fallen from an explosion. It's a bit ridiculous. The concept is just.
So do you reckon the shopkeeper goes up here just to take the batteries so people will buy them?
I guess so. Or maybe the shopkeeper set all this up so that he moves. Like, oh, okay, let's move this bit over here, and then I'll pull this down. I need a battery to then get on that, and then I'll take the battery out. It's all planned.
I guess it's cat to test it or something.
That bit's quite good with the swing, but you have to time it. Best advice on there, jump just after the squeak noise. When it squeaks, jump. I'll show you in a bit when we get back to it again. Just go back down there. This is kind of like the optional one, you don't have to get this one, do you?
No, this is for like a little chest, isn't it?
Indeed.
He's rubbing his hands. Those fools, they bought my batteries.
These are. How much were the batteries? Give me too much. Well, you have to have them to progress in the game. But
sure. I can't remember. I don't think they were too much. I mean, you wouldn't give us them for free. He'd set all this up. So.
He must have done. The shopkeeper must have gone through and set this up. There's no way this would have fallen naturally.
Yeah.
The bit with the propeller and the barrier moving up, that's not going to have been set up that way by accident. Alright, now watch this bit. As I said before, it goes squeak, then jump. So if you listen out for the squeak, as soon as you've heard it, you jump down. There you go. It took me a while to figure that out because I can remember I was looking at it visually, thinking like where on the screen it needs to be before you jump, and it's really hard to get it down because it's not really lined up against anything. Whereas the noise, if you do it by sound, it's much easier to time it. So that would be my advice on that section.
This must have only just collapsed because this is the sector when it collapsed, isn't it?
Yes. So it's all. I don't know. I guess it's. Yeah, if you think about it, the wall to the gates you go through to the other sector is kind of along the line to there. So this is right on the edge, isn't it? So that bit is right near the central pole.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think so. You're climbing up it, so you could see into the rubble of Sector 7. We're kind of on the outside of Sector 8. Yes. Which one was Wall Market? That was Sector 6? Yeah, I think it's Sector 6, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're climbing up the edge of Sector 6 and you can kind of see over the wall into Sector 7.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So you mentioned the other day, it's like, if you think about the sectors as like pizza slices, well, the end of the sector is going to be huge, but near the middle it's going to be tiny.
Yeah.
So in this game, you pretty much only experience like the first bit of the sector that's near the inner edge.
Yeah. And then with the Shinra building, like right in the dead centre, I guess.
Yes.
What does this look like? I'm gonna kick some Shinra butt, and that's not gonna work.
Yeah, so this bit you can decide whether you want to go in the back or bust in. So you can bust in, I'm sneaking quietly. I would recommend busting in. I think it is possible to actually do both. So you choose to sneak in quietly, you go all the way up to the door, and then you turn around and go all the way back.
Right,
but
yeah.
I think if you go in through the back, you get a few items. There's no battles or anything. You go up and get a few potions and things. If you go in this way, there's a lot more battles. There's another Turtle Beach Paradise flyer to get, and because of the battles, you get a bit more experience. And I think at this point in the game, having like a few battles is
definitely crucial.
definitely good to boost your party stats before like this next section.
Yeah.
So you will get a bit of benefit out of that. Although you may have already done a lot of grinding before this bit.
Intruders, seize them. One has a gun arm.
And they're all weird. Yeah, so if you're looking for the Turtle Beach... is it Turtle Beach?
Turtle Beach Paradise Post.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Turtle Beach. Do you reckon that's where Turtle Beach got their name for their headphones and stuff? Turtle Beach, like the headphones and stuff. Oh no, it's Turtle's Paradise. There we go. It's not Turtle Beach.
Oh, you got
No, it's not Turtle Beach. I'm thinking the Turtle Beach is like the headphones.
I got Paradise right.
Things, aren't they? Yeah. No, didn't you say Turtle Bay?
Turtle Beach Paradise Post.
Turtle Bay's that restaurant in town. You did say Turtle Bay. We got on the call. Sure, you said Turtle Bay. Anyway, Turtle Paradise Flyer. There you go.
If you got it right, give yourselves a thumb up. Thumbs up. Not. We don't go into anything weird here.
What? Okay, so here's the lift. There's a shop in there. We didn't bother going in, but again, there are loads of shops in these videos I've just skipped because you get a lot of armor and weapons and materia just like throughout the world. I don't find you really need to buy a lot of stuff. It's up to you. I mean, if you go into a shop and think, oh yeah, I want to get the latest weapons I can get, it's good fun to always like have the top things, but I find that you just naturally find quite good weapons anyway, and it's more of a jump. You know, if you've gone for like a long section having like, you could have had like 2 better weapons since you last upgraded your weapons, and then you find some, then it's like more of a jump in stats.
Yeah.
It's more noticeable.
Yeah, definitely.
There's one way you could play this game, like the no materia challenge. So play the game without using any materia. And it is doable if you think about it. You would have to use loads of items like potions and high potions and Phoenix Downs and stuff. You'd have to be really fully stocked on those. But when you don't have materia, your defense stats and your health and stuff is higher, isn't it? Like the more materia you put on, the more it affects your stats. So if you didn't have any materia, you'd be a lot stronger and tougher. So you would have no materia, and there are each character in the game has got a weapon which has no slots and really high attack. So I think Zack has the nail bat and Dine has a boxing glove thing. Obviously, as people using materia, they're not very appealing weapons, but if you weren't using materia, it'd be the most attack you could get out of a weapon. And some of the armour is like really high defence with no slots. I think it's like there's, I can't remember, same thing with Z, isn't it? There's an armour which is really high defence, but there's no slots on it. We used it a bit towards the end. And we're using like less material.
Oh, was it like Zedric or something?
Yeah. So you could have that and like the nail bat, and then that would be it. Then your character would be fully set up throughout the rest of the game. You wouldn't need to faff around with material or weapons. You'd be on the best weapon, best armor, no material. And then obviously you just have to focus on limit breaks would be much more crucial, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, Dave. Yeah, definitely.
So it's an interesting idea. I've never done it myself. I know people that have given it a try, but maybe worth doing one day. I'm not going to be bothered. play this game now so many times. I just enjoy the story so much. I mean, watching this now, it's like, always remember like playing this when I was much younger, and like watch it back now and think, oh, I remember this bit, I remember that. There's constantly like good moments throughout the whole game. It's one of those games I'm happy just to like keep playing, like replaying. It's very rare now that I will replay a game I've already played through, because I don't really see the point. So I can't play something new. So there's so many games I haven't played.
Yeah.
I think I'd really like to just keep playing more. But I think this is one of the games I had to play through again.
This bit's quite interesting. You can kind of sneak past everyone. Like you send Zack first. You want to make sure that you stand behind the statues, as the guards can't see you. So as they're moving or as they're not looking at you, you can move onto the next statue, and that you got to try and move your party across like that all the way to the end.
You have to be quite patient, really.
Oh.
Because it's all interesting. Because sometimes, like here, they're just hanging around those two gaps. But if they're gone over to that side, it's completely clear. So some bits are longer waits than others. Also, you can move when they're like facing sideways, but it's a bit riskier. Like now, it's completely clear, so you can just go across. But when they walk like to the left, you have to be quick because there's less time.
Yeah.
I think it's harder when you're controlling Zack, actually. When you're ushering the other two to come across.
Yeah, you only need to press one button.
You just need to press a button and then they run across. When you're doing Zack, it's free control. It's like, oh.
Yeah, because they go dead behind the statues, whereas Zack, like that third statue there, almost ran out into them.
Yeah. Okay. So these guys are moving a little bit quicker, so they're running between pillar to pillar. So you have to be extra careful. Oh, that was pretty scary. Well, he could just go. There you go. Then he stays there and waits for the other two. It looks easy, but it's actually very easy to mess up on this. If you're not careful, you just be really patient. There's no rush, just take your time with it. But it is very easy to make a mistake on this, I think, if you're not careful. But again, you might choose to do, like I said, with the...
How do I didn't get caught in? No!
You might choose to fight them anyway, because the extra experience you might get. So if you get caught, you just get in a fight, and it's not a problem. And again, you might get some extra experience and stuff at that point, which will be quite useful with the party this low at this stage of the game. Because later on, you've been in so many battles, the odd battle here and there isn't going to make too much difference.
No.
But I think at this point, you might benefit from getting maybe a couple of items and some extra XP.
Especially here, you're with like the main party. Like we kept more or less the same type of people all the way through. With these guys, you don't have a chance to swap anyone out.
Yeah.
Because Tifa's been caught, so you're only left with Dyne and Ares.
And I think you might potentially get your next level of limit break in this section of the game.
Ooh.
So if you were using your limit breaks quite a lot,
by
getting a few extra fights in the lift and stuff, you might find you're more likely to get the next limit break before the next few bosses.
Ah, okay.
So that's why I tend to go for the lift and fighting the guards and stuff.
Yeah.
Now this bit's quite good. The idea here is you'll need to get to the top floor. You've got up as far as the 60th floor. And now each little floor has different mini games, so we'll go through them now. There is a floor you can reach which has a save point. So with this bit here, you have to speak to the mayor and guess his password. Now there is a way of working out what his password is, and I don't really fully understand it. It's very confusing, but like it's a 4-letter word, and I think there's a book in each library that doesn't belong there. And then you have to find the book that doesn't belong there. And I think I guess you take like the first letter of the book, and it forms a word, but I tried that and it doesn't quite always work. So I think the easiest thing to do is ignore this to begin with and go to the save point, and then just go back to him and just guess the answer and find out what it is.
Oh, so his password doesn't change?
Yeah, no, it does change each playthrough, but if once you've gone in there, it'll be the same.
Ah, okay.
So then you can just like say whatever, and then you can you know what it's going to be. So in this run through is best, but doesn't mean it's always going to be best. And it's good worth doing it this way because you do get a piece of material. You get elemental.
Ooh.
Huh. So you get keycard 65. Just thinking actually, maybe the save point is on the floor that you can't reach at this stage.
Oh.
I suppose you could go all the way back to the ground floor.
True.
And go to the save point outside.
Yeah.
Don't know. I do recall at one point playing through it and doing it that way. So it is doable.
Yeah, I definitely remember the fact that there's one book in each little block of 3 that doesn't belong there.
An elemental, you do get some elemental later on, but if you get it at this stage of the game, it's really good. The material we use throughout the game, so I'd definitely recommend making sure you do get it in one try, and if you get it wrong, just take your time with it, go back to the previous save point and carry on. I suppose you may have to redo the lift and you're sneaking past the guard section because there's a save point just outside the Shinra building. It doesn't actually take that long. I mean, just through his playthrough, I think that whole section has only really taken like maybe 10-15 minutes. So for the sake of some elemental materia, 15 minutes of redoing that bit is probably worth it.
This one's quite cool. I like this one.
Yes, this is quite good. Do you want to talk through how you do this bit?
You've basically got 3 chances to open doors, and you've got to get through this maze, and there's lots of items you can get in the maze. Okay, so there's your first door you want to open. And come down here and open this door. And from here you can get 1 item through that automatic door.
You get 3 doors, don't you? So you can open 3 doors at a time. You can reset it if you get it wrong. And there's 3 items in total. They're all quite good, aren't they? So the idea is that you get all 3 items in one go.
Yeah, by
only
opening
3.
Yeah. So you just got coupon A. Inside that room is a air duct. You can see we can shuffle around in to go get coupon B. You see the end there comes out to where the computer terminal is.
So you've managed to get from one item to another without actually opening any more doors.
Not B coupon, and you've got 1 last door remaining to open, which you can do. 3 out of 3. Boom, it's C coupon. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it's done. So you'd have to go back through the air duct again to get back to the main room, but as you saw just now, there is a shortcut. So you don't have to go all the way back around.
Yeah, you could do that, but it's just I like you doing this way.
There's really no reason to not. Are you sure you want to go down this vent? It looks small. Yeah, and then you can enter your coupons and you get all the items. As you can see, you can reset it. You get star pendant, 4 slots, and all materia. So all really good things.
Yep.
So the pendant protects you from poison. 4 slot is 4 materia slots on a piece of armour. And then all materia is just another all materia spell that you would have already had a few of by now. And it's good to have lots of multiple alls, isn't it? Cause
yeah, definitely.
You can have like all on different attacks and then all on different buffs. So
yeah, you find you'll have multiple alls spread out on different characters. So you'll have your alls on your healer with your regen, stuff like that.
Now I think this is one of the flaws I was thinking about earlier, where there's a save point here, but there's not actually anything you have to do, because I think your latest keycard you've got takes you to the next floor again. So this floor is literally just to save, get some items, rest, but there's not actually any puzzle to solve here or do.
Yeah, true. You want to check all these lockers and make sure you don't miss anything.
Yeah, last one of those items is that where I had none. Rubbish. Actually, we were talking about doors being locked earlier. Well, fair enough. People don't lock their house doors, but they do lock their lockers.
Inside like a big government building.
I mean, you may have noticed then it just said there's a white megaphone, and obviously that would mean nothing to you at this stage of the game, but one of the characters later on in the game has a megaphone as their weapon, and that is actually the ultimate weapon, which you can get much later on in the game. Yes, there's a character that's weapon is a megaphone, and he hits people with it. Rubbish. Then you get the opportunity to sleep. This guy is sleeping there in his suit. And then there's people going on a treadmill in their suit. What sort of workers do they have in this place?
Perhaps they have a lot of suits. I'll wear my gym suit today.
Why would you exercise and then sleep in your suit? There's a little gym floor. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to have a gym in an office. That's cool.
I was going to say, don't get me wrong, it's nice to have a suit in the gym.
Well, I suppose I've never gone exercising in my suit. Now this bit's quite good. There is a model of Midgar, and it's a bit odd. You need to get a Midgar part is in one of these boxes. You put the Midgar part back into the model, and then another box opens, and you have to wander around finding the next box that's open and getting the part out, return to the model, opening it, another box opens up. Now obviously we've cut out all the fighting, but when you're playing through this area, this floor does have enemies on it, so you'll need to maintain your party and stuff while getting in fights, and there's a lot of wandering about checking boxes to do. And it's actually quite easy to just lose track of which direction you're running in as well, I think, when you have the battle sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think one of the enemies in this area casts sadness as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you have to like use hypers and stuff to undo that.
Cool. So the first part was in the middle room on the left. The box. Am I right in thinking the boxes don't change which one opens every time you go in here?
No, it's always the same ones, I think.
Okay.
It sounds like something opened up, and then you've got to go and find the next one. I think I almost remembered like which one was which, because I don't think we go to many like wrong boxes a lot of the time. Maybe this one. Yay! Key item, Midgar part. I think you need to put them in the right place as well, don't you?
Really?
Yeah, like, didn't you see like there was a bit earlier when we were like just wandering around, milling about in front of the empty space?
Yeah.
And it wasn't doing anything, it's presumably because we couldn't click the part in that space.
Oh, yeah, but we didn't have the parts then.
Gone straight to it. Played this game too many times to remember it in that much detail. It's very sad.
Do you reckon Shinra built this model after they collapsed Sector 7? Because that Sector 7 there was destroyed.
I think they did.
Or do you reckon they planned it all before, so they had a model?
It was all planned. I mean, why is this even here? There's an entire floor dedicated to this model of Midgard. It's like a meeting room above. They're like, I have a plan for Midgard, and they push a button, and then the model comes up from out.
Yeah, all their chairs
the
like
table.
swivel down to the model room.
It's like, as you can see, this model is missing Sector 7. That's the plan. So there's no staff on this floor. It's full of monsters, or like robot monsters, or at least. And they've already got a missing part. Surely, like, I suppose there isn't really a police or anything, is there? Shinra
just
are
guards.
in control.
Yes.
The guards are Shinra guards, so
Yeah.
there's no one really to arrest Shinra or do anything. If, like, even if their plans were revealed what they were doing, that they were responsible for destroying the pillar, who's going to do anything about it?
Yeah.
Shinra are the government in their way, aren't they? There is no other, like,
No policing force.
No
or anything.
policing force or anything.
So do you reckon the janitor at the end of every night has to
Takes all the parts.
yeah
puts
takes
in
all the
boxes.
parts off and
Why
puts them
would
in
you
like
even do
timed
that?
boxes?
Like, well, I put all these different parts into boxes and I've locked them all and they open up in sequence. Why would you do that, John? Why would you... John? Fine, we'll just leave it there. Leave it there. If any adventurers go through that want to steal a 66th floor key, well, in fact, there is the board meeting room where the model must go up to.
Yeah, the table just like separates and the model comes up through the
So
middle.
why would they put a key card to the next floor in a box that opens up? It's just crazy. In this bit here, if you do go into all the other offices, all of a sudden people don't care that you're sneaking around on these floors. A guy with a massive sword and a guy with a gun arm are just walking around. They don't seem to care now on this floor. It's fine.
Okay.
So you go and talk to them. One of them says, last time I went to the toilet I could hear people speaking.
Right.
And then another one mentions, oh, it smells funny in the boardroom. And that is meant to be enough to prompt you that you can get to the boardroom from the toilet.
Oh.
So, but obviously I didn't need that, so I just came straight here.
Yeah.
So a lot of suits. You should check out the gym, Don. Loads of suits. Yes, and we've gone over the numbers about Sector 7, and we've also updated the model in the room below. Let me show you.
John, you've not put all the model pieces back. Quick.
Why did you lock them in boxes? What? Yes, they're planning to leave Sector 7 destroyed. Just getting a good, nice idea about how evil Shinra really is. Ooh, the Promised Land. I know the Promised Land.
God damn it, Palmer. Palmer, would you sit back in your seat?
Palmer's a bit of a joke, really, isn't he? Out of Shinra Board, he's the only person who doesn't really give you any trouble. Ignorant citizens. We're talking about one of the other videos, how Heidegger's... Is it Heidegger? Heidegger? I don't know how to pronounce it. His laugh in this bit is just ha 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 ha. Yet later on in the game, people keep commenting on his laugh being gua 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 gua. Like that really weird laugh. It's like, why did his laugh change? Is this the first time you see Hojo?
Yeah, I think it is.
First introduction of Professor Hojo. Very important character in this game. He's a very pivotal role. And he's involved in a lot of parts of the story. Like in those of the flashback bits as well, we see quite a lot of Hojo.
Yeah, definitely.
What is he's actually trying to do that's going to take him that long?
Like, get corrective surgery for his forehead.
I think it's like they want to find out from doing experiments on her where the Promised Land is. Is that right?
Yeah,
I think it's going to take like 120 years. Like, surely you could just find it. Surely you could just go and look for something. Surely they have like some sort of Geiger counter that checks Mako levels, and they could just fly around in a high wind. Just like, oh, there's some readings are higher over here. That must be the Promised Land. That concludes the meeting.
Palmer, if you would like to jump in your chair more, now's the time to do it. Oh, Scarlet looks up.
She smells the toilet.
Something stings. Then Dine says, "Yeah, your plan."
Damn it, jumps down and just kills all of you. Imagine if this bit of the game they just jump down through the duct and like sword, gun, shoot President Shinra, Palmer, Heidegger, Scarlet, Hojo,
Reeve.
Kill Reeve as well. Definitely kill Reeve as well.
Yeah. Yeah, they would have been endgame. Although Rufus would still take over, I guess.
Yeah, then we just kill Reeve as well. Just kill them all.
He's bound to come into the boardroom sometime.
But obviously other threats within the game go beyond Shinra. Shinra is not the only villain of the story. There are others.
Though it does seem like it. This Midgar section feels like an entire game in itself.
Yeah, I mean, I think out of all the different like enemies and stuff in the game, Shinra is probably my favourite. Just because, like, you know, it's right at the beginning of the game. It's a while before any other threats start appearing, and you kind of have like when you return to Midgar later in the game, that seems like quite epic. It's like going back to where it all started.
Yeah.
I don't feel like returning to locations in games. I don't know what. There's something cool about it. It's like, do you know, in the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
In like Assassin's Creed 2 Part 2 or Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, wasn't it? You Denzel goes to where Ezio was in Assassin's Creed 2 to set up the Animus, and then like in Assassin's Creed Revelations, Ezio goes to where Altair was in Assassin's Creed 1, and it just everything's like connected, and there's something cool about that. And like in the Halo games where you'll go for a base at some point in the game, and then you return there later and it's all been destroyed. But it's the same place. All the corridors are the same. But like you go into a room and it's all like rubble. Yeah. But it's the same building you're in like 4 or 5 levels ago and things like that. I think that's really like clever. It's really cleverly done.
Yeah, especially if they can show you how that place has changed. Like you're saying, like buildings destroyed and stuff like that. And going back to like Masaev in Assassin's Creed, how everything's like ruins and stuff like that. Everything's overgrown. Hojo. Quick, must turn my back.
Yeah, he's really quick to hide, isn't he? And he's hiding within plain sight. He's right over there. He stands there for a while, looks around, and then runs the... Surely he would want to be the other side of the box.
Yeah. Like,
if he turns around, he'll see him. There's literally nothing in between Zack and Hojo. It's just completely blank.
He puts his hand on Hojo saying, You realise there's a blonde person just stood behind this box. Yes, go away.
It's very ridiculous.
Yeah. Perhaps his forehead just stopped. He's like blinkers. Cute lion thing.
I don't know what it is it? It's kind of like a... I suppose it looks more like a lion than a wolf, but I suppose it's like a part wolf, part lion or something.
Yeah, or like part dog.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, is it like kind of like part...
Well, it's got like a lion's
like
tail.
big cat, part big dog, I guess. That's the thing, it's the bit you ask him what he is. Like, oh, and what do you see? That's helpful. Genova. See, this is just weird. What the hell was that? It's like, doesn't have a head. There's an eye in its tit. What? What is it meant to be? It's just, and every time you see Genova, it looks different, doesn't it? It's just like,
yeah, like every monster looks is
when
weird.
you in like during the fights, it looks weird. During like the cut scenes, it looks different. During these bits, it looks different. It's kind of like, what the hell is it?
Yeah.
And why does it have a head?
Did you see
kind
it?
of like freaked out by Genova.
Hmm.
It's still alive.
It wasn't moving. We all saw the scene.
There's its fucking head. There's something stupid. Just keep going.
Yeah.
I don't really want to look at this headless monster thing.
It's not like, what is this?
That's not why we're here. Come on. Stop looking at Hojo's fucked up experiments. So is that... No, I'm just trying to think if Genova's there for like... Well, that part of Genova's there for like the rest of the game.
I guess so, yeah.
I don't think it is. I think that's what gets taken later. I have to watch to find out.
What was the box over there?
Don't forget your box. I think this is where you get the biomateria. Yeah, poison. That's really useful. If you've got, if you picked up elemental like we did earlier, and you picked up poison, equipped elemental with your attack, and then when you hit people, they can get poisoned. But don't do it on this upcoming boss because it actually has a it's kind of poison based. So it's kind of a bit cruel, really. They give you this poison magic and then put you against an enemy that is
that heals off the poison.
Yeah, it's just like, come on. At least give us fire magic for the biological monster, and poison against like a human boss or something that's weak to poison.
Outsiders? You just met them in the last room. Can you not see?
It's weird. There's not actually. Think about how many people work in the building. It's quite minimal stuff. The building's massive. There's like loads of people milling around like the earlier floors. Like I suppose, yeah, actually, these are like just floor 60 to like 65 and stuff. So there must be loads of other office workers on like other floors and things.
Yeah, perhaps. Is it? I don't know. Say there's like 100 people maybe for the entire building.
Yeah, that's not.
They've killed a lot of them.
Yeah, I suppose. Oh, yeah, that's the point as well. You don't really see the guards; they just like attack you on certain floors.
Yeah.
I still think it's weird that like the one floor, the model, you get in fights, and then as soon as you get up to the next floor, like nobody seems to care you're there. It's like, aren't you questioning my presence?
Well, if they're here, they must have passed the model room well.
You know, if someone's breaking in and they got through the model room, hell, I'm impressed. I'm not even going to question it. I'm going to assume this key card is valid. Imagine if you worked there, it's like, oh, you've got an interview today, it's on the 26th floor. Oh man, I've got to get through the model room and unlock all the boxes. I have to do that before I get the key card to get in. Like, that is the interview. That'd be a bit of a weird place to work.
What if Hojo's working there? Like literally.
Well, what do they even do? They're like a power energy company, aren't they? They have all the Mako reactors and they provide the Mako. But you know, they must have loads of other different stuff going on. They've got like the science labs and board. You know, I suppose an energy company would have a board meeting, but to have a big model, they've got a gym.
Well, they've got to try and keep all the guards fit to kill.
Yeah. They've got the gym. They've got a library as well, where the mayor sits. That's the thing. We're talking about like there's no police force or anything or government. They do have the mayor.
Yeah, true.
But then they just say like the mayor's a joke. No one really cares about the mayor. He works in the Shinra building, and we just like, no, he's mayor in title only. No one really cares.
You can be mayor and have your own floor in our giant building. Wow, thanks. But to get to the room above you, it's going to be puzzle-based.
I'm mayor, though, right? Yes, you're mayor. Fine.
You get your own password on your computer.
The music sounds pretty funky.
The music in this is really awesome.
I like the music throughout the whole game is pretty good actually. But I do like the tense music of like you gotta hurry up, like the ticking.
Yeah. That's what I felt when I was like reading this. I was like trying to read it as quick as possible just to try and skip to the next bit.
This is interesting. Like you get to choose your party then on here. So basically, whoever you send to take Tifa somewhere isn't with you in the next party. So you can have a think about who you want with you. It's only really for this next boss fight. So we've gone to have Dine, Zack, and Red. Calls them Red 13. So and you defeat the monster and they come back. So like, what was the point of you going and taking it to safety? You're going to turn around and come right back to the same room.
Don't worry, Cloud, we're hid behind this box. No, you know that doesn't work. I only use it because I'm blonde.
Doesn't like two-legged things. All of his friends are two-legged things. And his name is Nanaki.
Is that materia as well? That you
yeah, some materia there. I think, is that the first lot of enemy skill materia you get?
Oh.
Potentially. Don't think you actually get any enemy skills until after you leave Midgard, but so we do have a enemy skill guide on the channel if you want to look for that.
Yep.
And we'll tell you where all the enemy skills are and what all they all do, which ones we like, which ones we figured you can miss. You can see what they're all about, and good to watch through all of that before you play the game, I suppose, and then you kind of know in advance.
Yeah, true. There's no real spoilers at all.
Yeah. No. Or if you're using a guide you found online and you actually want to see what the enemy you're looking for looks like, we've actually done a video, so it's kind of easier to find out what the moves are and stuff.
Yeah.
The enemies you get them from.
Can we pick up the materia yet?
Yeah, you go back now. So, what is it? Is it enemy skill? Yes,
yeah.
Enemy skill.
Awesome.
So one of the best materials in the game, I think. Probably if you use it, if you use a guide and get all of them, or at least get all the good ones, definitely worth it. I think the first time I played the game, I didn't use any guides or anything, and maybe I didn't. I always tried to have enemy skill on me, but I obviously would have missed quite a few, just because like all the really good ones we have to manipulate people and get them to do it too. Like all the buffs, I didn't really get. I think because of that, I was using a lot of materia, a lot more like time materia and curing materia and stuff like that, and the barriers and things like that. I would have alls and barriers and alls and time and that sort of thing. But then when you get the enemy skills like Big Guard, you get barriers, physical barriers, magic barriers, and then haste.
Yeah.
And then you get healing stuff that removes all of your state cells. There's loads of like really good enemy skill buffs. So let's see if there's anything around here.
No. I always feel I have to check though, just in case. Like pressing a button that isn't shiny will just activate a room that lets you get into a box that gives you the best weapon in the game.
That's the thing with like games. I always find that in game, well, definitely from like playing this is one of the first RPGs I really played through. But I found like in a lot of games now, if I'm in a room or something, you're supposed to go down a corridor. You never go down the corridor before you go down the other corridor, which doesn't look like where you're supposed to go. Well, it looks like I'm not meant to go there, so I'm going there first.
Yeah.
You always kind of do that, don't you?
I found that recently when playing Torchlight 2.
Oh yeah.
Like you'll try and unlock most of the map, like to figure out where you're supposed to go for the next portal, and then realise no, I need to go the other way and explore everything first. I just think games have developed that sense that they'll give you like secret passages and stuff that give you like better loot, etc. If you're up for exploring them.
I mean, games have changed a lot, really, in like a lot of fundamental ways. Like if you think about it, originally the whole point of having lives was so when you're playing in an arcade, if you ran out of lives, then you had to put more money in. Whereas like in games now, I find more and more that there's no penalty for dying. Like, do you know what I mean? Like in like when I was playing 2 Human, there wasn't really any consequence for dying. You would just respawn straight away. And I've recently been playing through the Devil May Cry games. I found that there's quite a lot of consequence for dying because you go back to the beginning of the level. And say if you've like played through the level for like 15 minutes, you get to near the end and then you die, you have to replay that whole level again. And that's kind of quite annoying. I mean, I've had games like that where you play it for like a few while. If you get stuck on something too long, you just give up on it. There was a Wolverine game that was really good, and that was a similar thing. Like if you died, you restart the level, but the levels were quite long. I think there's a level where there's a corridor round behind the corner was probably like the end of the level. There's like a big robot that killed me. Probably only about 4 times or 5 times, but that's looking at then like over an hour of playing and restarting again. So like an hour's time, I'm still at the beginning of the level and doing it again for the upteenth time. It's like, actually I can't be bothered, and then you just never go back to it.
Yeah, so games like that, they kind of do it wrong, but with DMC, that's more of a skill-based, like time attack leaderboard type game, where the more you play it, the more you're trying to get like the triple S rank to try and beat the best.
Because the ranking and stuff, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
And I suppose if you're a really experienced player, you know exactly where to go, exactly what to do. So it's more arcadey, I guess, in a sense, isn't it? Which I suppose why you've got like the big penalty for death, because that's something that would happen in arcade games.
Yeah.
It's like I find it funny playing some arcade game with ports that you can now get on console, and you get certain bits in the game. It's just like how much would you have spent if you played it in the arcade?
Yeah.
Like, the Metal Slug games are crazy for that. Like whenever I play Metal Slug in an arcade, like there's loads of arcades when I live on holiday and stuff, and you go in the arcade and you play Metal Slug, you probably play it for like 10 minutes, and then that's it. You might, if you're really good, you might get to level 2. But unless you want to start putting like pound after pound after pound in, it just gets ridiculous. It's like you play it on the Wii. I've got like the Metal Slug Anthology, and you have infinite continues, and you just die and die and die and die. And you think, if I was actually paying for this in an arcade, I would have spent like 50 quid to complete the game.
Yeah.
And that's more than what I actually spent on the disc.
Yeah, the collector's disc, which had more than just one game in it.
Yeah, it had like all of them, I think. Or all of them up to a point anyway, unless they done any more.
I can remember playing Point Blank and the arcades, the gun games. But I got to the point where I couldn't go to the arcades all the time, so I bought like Namco light guns and the game and had it at home. Yeah. So I was getting to the point where I was like so good, I was just spending £1, like a £1 coin in at the arcades, and being there for like over half an hour and just like completing the game. It was awesome.
I think I did some things. That's one thing I wish they'd brought out more on like the Wii and stuff. Hopefully they'll bring it out on Wii U now, those sorts of games. Because they re-released House of the Dead games, but they never did Point Blank, they never did Time Crisis or Virtual Cop and things like that.
No.
So that'd be good to have those games again. Or that Jurassic Park game where you're like sat in the Jeep.
Oh yeah.
That was really good.
Well, do you reckon they'll have like a Jeep controller then? Like that's half your front room.
Yeah. No, I think they'd let you just use your sofa. So. Right, they're all in prison now, or been captured. So yeah, this bit you can think about each person. Again, this part of the game, we just went through the big section, going through the different floors, doing a bit of problem solving, doing the puzzles, fighting enemies, then like a big dramatic boss fight, and now it slows down, lots of dialogue, big scene. So it's the same sort of thing again. And I think the story is something that makes you want to keep playing the game quite a lot. Because like sometimes when I first played through this, I didn't know the story. And I'd get to a save point and be like, oh, I really want to find out what happens next. I didn't want to play just through the enjoyment of playing. I wanted to play again to find out what happened. You know, that's something which a lot of games, you know, don't always do for me now.
Very true. I think the story in this was just incredible. As soon as we left Midgar and we were like, oh, here's the world, I was like, what? So everything's going to be like as intense as that? I was just, wow.
I mean, you definitely spend more time in Midgar than anywhere else, don't you?
True. But it's like setting up the foundations for the rest of the game and the entire planet.
Absolutely. Obviously, this is more scenes between Ares and Tifa, like conversing, and there's that love triangle between the 3 characters. I think that's kind of like done quite well, the love triangle, because it's not like a really overbearing part of the game. If it's something that doesn't interest you, it doesn't really take over the game too much. It's kind of quite a subtle thing. There's only like a few little scenes here and there.
And choices.
Yeah, I mean that's just like an extra bit of the game, isn't it? Your choices. That's the main thing your choices affect, really, is who likes you based on what you say and what you do to people.
Yeah.
Whereas like most of the answers in the game, if you're always like cold towards everyone, ultimately the cutscenes are still going to play out in the same way. The game's still going to have the same conclusion. The only thing that really is going to be different is, you know, which one of the girls you sort of end up with, as it were.
I don't want to say anything because you'll find out later in the game.
If you haven't played it yet.
True.
Obviously there might be
if you're like the millions of people who have already.
Most people have played this by now, but I think obviously they've re-released this or they are re-releasing it soon.
Yeah.
With different graphics and stuff. So I thought it was a good time to play through it again and sort of revisit. And obviously you'd not played this at all before, so
No.
and as like one of my favourite games, I wanted you to experience it as well. So I think you'd really enjoy it.
Yeah. I think I'd only ever gotten to the playground part, with the cat slide.
Yeah. It was really difficult actually playing this with you, knowing what was going to happen and not doing any spoilers because the game's like so old now. It's like, why do you not know that any of this happened? But and there's loads of bits that I saw which were like, oh, what's happening there? Who's this Sephiroth person?
I'm just like, shut up, Tim. You know exactly what's happening.
Who's this Sephiroth chap?
Why did we call him Nanaki? You'll find out later, Chris.
Yes.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah, because I messed around with all the names. Oh, the Dine as well.
Yeah, when I first asked him, why do you call him Zach? He said, yeah, just seems like a normal name, Zach, doesn't it?
Why have you called him Zach? Why have you called him Dine and Nanaki? I think Zach, Dine and Nanaki are the best ones because there's some confusing dialogue that happens as a result. With like Tifa and Ares, you just swapped the names over, and like, other characters have just swapped names around.
Though when anyone else is telling me about who we've called Tifa, they start talking about Ares, and I'm like, who?
Yeah, you're like confused. Like, no, you mean Ares? No,
she punches everything. No. I wonder why the guard decided to put Dine and Nanaki together in one cell.
Yeah.
Cloud and Ares in one cell.
Zack and Ares.
Yeah, Zack. Shut up.
And then Tifa and Ares.
Yeah, then Tifa.
And the thing as well, why did Dine and Nanaki not have a bed? And then did they have a bed? That's a bed there. That's kind of up
no,
on
it's
the
a
side.
radiator.
It's not a bed up that's up on the side. It maybe you pulled out.
Oh, I don't.
Because if you look at Ares and Tifa's room, they're sat on the bed. Maybe you pull the bed down and then sit on it.
Oh.
But there's like 3 other cells in there as well, which are all like
Empty
with beds in.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, can you see like the little thing on the wall, like a hinge?
Oh,
I reckon when you get off the bed, it must move up to the side. I've always thought that Dine and Nanaki are in a room with no bed, but look, I think that's the under part of the mattress.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be a bit weird if.
God, you don't want to be in the room with Tifa and Zack because there's like one toilet in there. That's good. Got to be awkward.
Oh.
There you go. Those beds are down.
True. Yeah, there's like 3
why
more
would
empty
they
cells.
Put Zack and
Just put them all in a
Zack
cell
and Ares
each.
together.
Yeah.
With one toilet. It's like, why would you do that? Just give them a room each. Come on. I know they broke in and killed loads of people, but there's things where they've got to have a prison block. There's only a few prison cells. Where else in the world is there a prison? There's no government, no police, no army. It's just Shinra, and they've got 5 prison cells.
Well, 6. There's like a mini corner one.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not like a prison somewhere.
Or
It's
wouldn't
very small
outside
world.
the golden saucer count?
Yes, there is, isn't there? There's another prison there. I suppose that's where most people go. Well, no, how far does Shinra's reach really go? I suppose it does. There is a Shinra influence in most places you go, really, isn't there? Okay, well, we'll have to find out what's going on. The guard's been killed. The doors are open. We're somehow getting out of this the prison cell. We're going to go on to another section of the game.
How'd you get in? Why don't I have a bed yet? Yeah, who do you reckon they built these prison cells for? Like, oh well, I think we'll make this floor like have some prison cells in it, just in case a guy with a sword and a gun arm comes in.
I know, they must have any other reason to put people in cells in the Shinra building?
No.
On this
They have
floor?
no reason for it, unless like
it's a weird office to work in, as you're saying.
True.
Right, well, let's wrap this up now. We're going to go on to the next video.
Yep.
So
Join
us again
in episode 4.
Yeah, see you in episode 4, guys.
Whoop.